Alright, so let's see if we can dry distill using a retort leading into, this is my flask here. It's covered by ice, as you can see. The flask is empty, there's a little bit of water in the bottom and it's basically just filled up with ice. So I take it out for you. Fine. And I have a bunch of ground up patchouli, which I'm going to put in here. Then we're going to start the burner and see what happens. Alright, here we are. It's all sealed, as you can see. It's in there a little bit, and let me just adjust this maybe. Put it over the flame a little more. Maybe I might need to raise it, but if I raise the flame, that should work. Put this more over here. That should be good enough. Okay, let's take a look at this. Doesn't look to be anything heating. I think the bottom might be. Put this up a bit more. Put the fan on. There we go. You can see it starting in there. The smoke is appearing inside of it. Really see that smoke. The bottom part looks like it's all blackening now, which is good. Smoke, let's see if it's starting to receive a little bit. Oh, look at that inside of there. Isn't that interesting? Oh, very cool. Let's see if I turn this light off 1 second. Give you a clearer view. Does seem to be condensing there, but it hasn't dropped. I'm hoping that it doesn't come out of here. It seems to be filling this. It might be filling that full of smoke by the looks of it. Yeah, it's starting to come out of here. It's coming out of, oops, I'll turn the heat down. Let's do it slowly. Might be better that way. Still does not seem to be condensing in here, which is a shame. And I don't have a seal. Oh, look at that. Might be just residual waters though. Smoke started to kind of go down a bit. You can see it's at the bottom there more so. But it's not. See, there's residual water from me washing it, but that isn't from condensing yet. So it might just all be going out. At least it is starting to collect in there. I'll turn this up just a bit more. The flame, that is, because it doesn't seem to be doing much. Still a decent amount of herbs in there. Gonna get it. Oh, got a drop. Does not look to be properly condensing like I wanted it to. I might have to wire this up with to a flask, I think. Might do better. Turn the heat up a bit. So you can see we're getting the oils on the retort there, so it's something. but we are not getting much in the receiver flask. That is pretty cold still. Yeah. So it seems if I don't have enough heat, it doesn't rise. It doesn't really rise. You get these waters, but these waters aren't really the oils what we want. So first you get the waters out, similar to the iron, and then secondly you get the oils. And so I'm going to have to turn the flame again to start trying to get the oils to go. As you can see, we get the condensation liquid that's going down there. Is that enough flame on it? I wonder. I think so. We're getting a lot more water coming through. You start to see the smoke billowing up there. Which basically is not really a little bit, doesn't seem to be, the smoke doesn't seem to be condensing. It's not high pressure enough, I don't think. It's too low pressure. Otherwise I'm going to have to bubble it through water maybe, because it's just coming out here. I'll turn the heat up as much as I can just to see what will happen. You can see that's really red now. All those volatile oils coming out. This one's starting to get a bit darker colour down. That's interesting. You can see some of it's dripping down, some of the volatile. So maybe we do need more heat. I'm not sure. There seems to be a primary smoke and a secondary oils. There's two kind of these things that are burning. That's after the water. So you get that first water, the white smoke, and then the red kind of oil it seems. Which the red oil seems to need a lot of heat to go up. I'm not sure if I have enough heat, to be honest. We'll see. Might need to, I don't know if I need to lower it or something. Lower the flask a little bit. It's probably too hot. Yeah. I might be able to, but I don't want to disrupt it is all. You can see it's dripping. Well, it's dripping down. That's what we want. We want that red oil, but it's not enough. Doesn't seem like it's enough to get it to go there. So what I'll do is I'll quickly I'll pull it down a little bit. I'll just take the heat down, and I'll just 1 second. Alright, so I lowered the beam there, and then I'm going to go back to medium heat, and then we'll go to high heat. See what that does? Because now it's more touching it. You can see. I don't know if I should fully put it over. That might do something, but I'm not sure. I'm just kind of touching more the rim, as you can see. Yeah, we're getting a lot of that redness. Getting some of the redness in here, which is interesting. Is it get hot? Turn around. Yep, look at that. Look at that. That's what we want. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. It's just this tiny amount. It's only a tiny amount. Most of it's in there. Turn this up again. As you can see. Let's see what happens. Make sure this isn't getting melted. No, that's fine. So we want more of that red oil to drip down. Watch this. I can smell it. It's not as strong as if you were calcining something, but it's still pretty strong, so just keep me over it. You can see there, it's kind of a crescent moon of darkness. It's not all the herb is burning. It doesn't seem to have enough heat. Now if I try to take this and I try to, taking this and I'm lifting it and putting it down here, let's see how that affects it. Yep, We've got more smoke coming now, which is good. It's going to crisp the stuff on the other side, which is what we want, because we want it more even. And this, you can see how red that is. Look at that. The whole thing's just painted in redness. So that is the sulfur. And that water, all that water that's condensing is the mercury, and the salt is the black stuff there, that physical black stuff that's still in there. So those are the three alchemical components. Take a good look at that. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, if we could get all that to, I think it is, it's starting to, looks like it's, yeah, look at all that. That oil's thick. It doesn't want to smoke by the looks of it. So there is a component which smokes, which is the very volatile stuff, and in the oil, it's too thick, it's too heavy by the looks of it to smoke. So it just makes, it seems to more drip, and you need a lot of heat to really rise it up, if you get what I mean. And see, this is really, got more of that. Oh, that's sending hot waves of air up my arm. That was actually quite pleasant. If it's like an air vent. That's quite nice. And I'll turn this over a little more so I can get that. As you can see, the lighter shade is the stuff that's unburnt, and now it's getting more burnt. Yep, that's what we want. We crisp it up, and I hope this is all stable. And you can see at the back there, look at all that redness. Look at all of that. That is superb, isn't it? Yeah, just a little bit in the middle that hasn't, but it's starting to smoke. As you can see the smoke. The spirit, the ghosts essentially within the flask. You can see it all kind of, yeah, doing that. That's awesome. That is amazing. Yeah, nearly black, nearly all black now, which is good. I wonder if I could lower it more. Do I need to lower it more into the flame? I don't know. It might help, but yeah, I don't know. If I center it, I don't think the centering it would work because it projects outwards, so I kind of want it on top of it. I'm not quite sure. Maybe push it forward a little bit more. You see that red stream? That's exactly it. It's all up at that condenser there, or that little nozzle. You can see. Look at that, look at the blood red that is, that's incredible. That is all the oils, the volatile, the heated oils. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. That is superb. Look at that, wow. Yeah, look at all that oil. That is about it. I'm going to let this cool. Hopefully it's all good. And yeah, I'll show you the results after. Here you can see I've let it cool. It's a little bit hot still, but you can see the oil's kind of clumped together. Interesting. As for our yield, it's interesting looking stuff at the bottom. We can see that little tiny bit of that oil there. It's probably viscous. I think I'm going to have to use alcohol to dissolve it. Here we have the ashes, which I gave a quick grind. Not the ashes, the charcoal compound. As you can see, here we are. See, start to calcine here. And you can notice there's no smoke or steam coming up. So that apparently there's a mild amount. It smells kind of like old cigarette butts. But it seems like all of that stuff was more taken up in the here. In the retort, which which is interesting. So all of that stuff was the was it. One interesting thing to know is that you see on the top is where the white starts to come, like here. And if I move it, look at that, it's all black. So it's the oxidization. It's basically that's what we're doing. We're oxidizing it. So it's heat in mixture with the air specifically. You can see how much it's reduced. Give you a little zoom in there. There's way less in it than it was originally. And it's kind of getting to the point where it's not really doing much, but there's still some blackness in it, so I want to try to get as much, of the blackness out as I can. So this grey here is about good. I think we could keep it going, but honestly, most of the coal, most of the blackness is off. So that looks about good to me. I'm gonna let that cool and take it off the heat tool. All right, you see we have our ashes, and this is just some warmish kind of hot water. And I'm gonna just pour in a bit of that. Let's take a look there. Yeah. I guess I want enough so that I can kind of separate. Oops, excuse me. Put a bit more in. It's probably about, I don't know how much water that'd be, 50 milliliters or so. You can see it's kind of going around because we want it to settle. I want the ashes to settle on the bottom, and I'm gonna draw it up with the syringe. Here we are, 100 milliliter plastic syringe. That's what I used to draw it up from this one, so it all stops spiraling and they settle to the bottom, and then we will heat it up. We'll evaporate it. Alright, here we are back in the lab, aka my kitchen, and here we have the water. Now I found the what do you call it, oven was a bit slow, so I'm going to use the hot plate. I'm going to put it on like a 1, just real low. I could even honestly put it on a 0, to be honest. I don't want it to boil or bubble or anything like that. I just want it to kind of steam out the top, because again, as I said, if you do it too hot, you can lose those salts. But either way, let's just see what we can do. Alright, so you can see it's mostly evaporated. Just say if you're worrying about, oh, well, my ash is correct, do I do it right? So you dip your finger in and you taste it, and I can taste that tastes salty. And not just salty, that tastes like, the best way to describe it is the ashes from an earthly plant, which patchouli is an earthly plant. So I imagine different plants' ashes will taste different. I haven't tested that, but that'll be an interesting thing for other videos. Here we are. Now it's a little bit difficult to see. You kind of see some sparkling. Here, I'll pop it down there. Excuse that. Get my finger in. Oh, that's actually... You hear that? It's hard to see, but I've got a little bit of this salt. There's not much of it, really not much, but alas, good enough. So what we're going to do, got the 90% ethanol. I'm going to pour some in there, and I'm going to pour it in here, hoping that the ethanol dissolves this. See this stuff? Look at all that. There we go. Probably put it over the flame for a bit, just to heat it up. To do that, yeah, I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, now it's dissolved. I had to use a bit of water because it wouldn't actually dissolve in the ethanol. It's too high percentage. So the salt, yeah, you need a bit of water in there to do that. And I'm just going to pour it in here. Alright, there we go. You see, just from doing that alone, we're getting a little bit of it, but we're not really picking up as much as we want. So that's why we're going to heat it out. Just give it a bit of heat. Oh shit. Yeah, because high percentage ethanol. It's going to pop the cap open. As you can see, it's kind of popping open. But it looks like it's dissolving a little more. Oh, fuck. That's yeah, the bottom looks pretty clean to me. So I think it dissolves as much as we, dissolves it all. It's looking pretty good. I think there looks like there's a clump in there. Is that gonna heat it up some more? Shake it a bit. There we go. Oh, looks like it's in this. Fucking hell. Did you see that? I don't think I got that on camera. That fucking, the cap just blew open because of the high percentage ethanol. That's fucked. Alright. Maybe we got some impurities or something that I'm going to have to strain away. Yeah, we got some clumps of something or other. Or maybe it just doesn't want to mix with the, would it be the water or the ethanol? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. We'll keep it heating. Here we are, pouring it out. Oh, looks pretty good to me. Yeah. Looks like there's some real reddy black kind of impurity. Oh, are they impurities or are they like... Here, let me get out of the steam. Or is that like a resin? It's like a thick black resinous oil? Or is that more of a, I don't know. Look, if you look at here, it looks like all that real thick oil does not... Give it a smell. Does not really want to mix with the alcohol. Now, it doesn't want to mix with, oh fuck, it's a bit hot, but does it want to mix with pure alcohol? Let me test that out quickly. Could also be the mixture of the alkaline. Fuck, or maybe there's not enough. Excuse me. Maybe there's not enough alkalinity in there because there's not enough salt. Because usually the salt acts as a way to dissolve the no, look at that. Alright, so that works. So you can use pure basically pure, 90% plus ethanol to dissolve the oils, the really pyrolytic oils, whatever the fuck you call it. And you can, but you can't really do it with the water and the, I don't know, we're getting some weird thing going on with that water. See, it's kind of clumping it there, and then you pour this shit in there. There we go. Let's turn this on and start evaporating it off. Yeah, you still got that stuff at the top. I don't know if it's just not enough, not enough alcohol, or if it's, I think there's some kind of chemical reaction between the alkaline stuff, or maybe it's not alkaline enough. Or maybe I just have to work it a bit more. I don't know. If I mix it in and kind of work it. No, it looks like this reddy stuff's on the top. It's like a scaling, and I can kind of pick it up with this. Oh, yeah, that smells like the really fiery shit, like the tarry kind of resinous, fiery stuff. I wonder if there's a way to kind of get rid of that. I think for like sucking the water at the bottom maybe, and just leaving whatever that shit is on the top. Kind of just not really working with that, because that's the stuff. I don't know if maybe if that's good stuff or maybe if it's not, but it smells. Oh, it smells shocking. So okay, I reckon I'll put this in like a glass, and I'll get the suction thing and I'll pull it from the bottom. So give me a second. I think my idea was to put it in like a cup like this, and then to put it in the fridge, and then to let all the stuff go to the bottom, and then you just suction off the top liquid. I also tried it out. It is the most bitter, fucking horrible tasting thing you would imagine. It's shocking. It is absolutely shocking. But it's very medicinal. It's very... I don't know how you would use it as a I mean, you just drink it, but small amounts. But I'm saying like commercially or something. I don't think people really want to drink, be eating that shit. But otherwise, you can do that, and yeah, it works very well actually. I just a tiny little bit. I just put my finger in, dipped it, and drunk it, and it's totally strong as it's really. Clears out the head, very strong earthly characteristics and qualities. It's fine. Actually, while this is heating, I might suction it out and put it on my plate, because I want to dissolve it on the plate so you can see with the resinous oily material. So it looks like it's all kind of collecting there. That should be enough. Anyway, I'm going to do that, let this heat up, and I'll show you. So my observations are as follows. So I noticed first, we got the herb. we got the alembic leading to something else, leading to container, right? We've got the herb here burning, so herb, fire, starts to smoke and steam up, or it starts to like steam up. And then number one, what happens is number one here is water. You first get water from the dry distillation. Number two is you start to get smoke, right? Smoke starts to affect. So two, smoke, which also I think it either turns into the orange stuff or the red stuff or both. I don't really know. So then number three, it's kind of more orange. I guess I could say the condensation of the compression and the cooling of the smoke into the orange oil, and then finally four is red oil. And I guess the red and orange oils is kind of like a fractional difference in these two things, and then the water is kind of like the mercury, so to speak. So these are like the sulfur. If you want to think about in alchemical terms, again, it's mercury. And then the salt, which is number 5, 6, and 7. Well, technically these two, which number 6 is grey / white. White ash. Yep. Number 7 is clear salt. The salt you water refine from the grey ash. Number 5 is charcoal or coal, I guess. I don't know, just put coal. And I think when you heat that, you get carbon dioxide gas. I don't know, but I would imagine carbon dioxide. Because when I calcined the coal, which had already removed all these upper oily portions, right? There was no smoke or steam or anything coming off it. It was clear. It was a clear kind of gas. I could smell a little bit of something coming off it. So I think it was simply just the carbon vaporizing and turning into like a carbon dioxide through the air. Something like that. Leaving us with the whitish grey ash, which we then refine. So that's an interesting thing, just if you wanted to separate everything into layers. These are all of the layers, and again, salts. So that's kind of the dry distilling fractionation, essentially. Alright, take a look at that. Now that's not completely dried out, but I thought I'd show you it while it was still, still got something to it. Yeah, take a look at that. It's like that real blood red, almost kind of blacky, grey, resinous oil. You can see that. Some parts are kind of dried like that out on the edge there. Yeah, well, that's the final result. It smells... before it smelled terrible. Now, while it's not heating, it doesn't smell quite as bad, but it smells like a campfire. Is the best way I can put it, and that's basically the pyrolytic oils, I believe is what they call it. Interesting procedure. Do I recommend trying it? Oh, there we go. It's starting to harden up a little more. Maybe if you're interested in this kind of stuff, try to do it outside if you can, probably. As for medicinal effects and taste, well, here's nothing. Oh, it's strong. Very strong. Kind of bitter. Kind of like a smooth, harsh flavor. Very earthy, very patchouli tasting. it's not quite as, it doesn't circulate quite as well as the alcohol version of it. The oil version is, yeah, it's much more slower to circulate. I think the alcohol really, you know, sets it on fire in your body. But yeah, medicinally, I mean, it does what patchouli does. It makes it very grounding, very dry. I noticed today, because I've been working with all this, I was very dry while working and doing all that stuff, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, some earthiness is alright as long as you drink enough water. Shocking aftertaste, but either way, I think after doing this, I've come to an idea that unless there's a way to purify this and kind of get rid of like the, you know, some other stuff, I mean the real harsh kind of burning stuff, it's basically, it's just a quicker way to process herbs if you kind of like a fiery method. To be completely honest, the alcohol tincturing method of just putting herbs in alcohol, letting it sit or heating it up mildly, then, you know, processing the herbs into ash and adding that back into the tincture, you know, shaking it up and doing that, that honestly works perfectly fine. Or even water refining, even just doing that. After doing this, I can say that it's not much better than the other methods. Really, it's pretty much just the same. It's just kind of different in the way that you do it. It was very interesting to learn. You can see up the top is kind of drying up a little more. Very interesting to do. And I think it will be a good experiment to help for mineral dry distilling, which is what we're, you know, hopefully going to do next. From the looks of it, I think animal and herbal stuff is probably better done the wet methods, you know, water, alcohol, etc. While mineral stuff, I mean, you can do it wet methods as well, but, you know, if you want to process, you know, green iron sulfate into sulfuric acid or something, I mean, you got to kind of dry distill it, unless you want to catalytically do it. So yeah, interesting experiment nonetheless. All I can smell is campfire, and that's probably all I'm going to smell tonight. But alas, here we are. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, check the links in the description if you're interested in social and commercial stuff, and have a nice day.